love it when I can go live right away. I don't have to keep fumbling around with the app. So we're on. Thanks for joining. Happy Thursday. Been a busy day, another busy day, but I just love the weather. This time of the year in Bahrain, the weather is beautiful. Walking outside is nice. I can go a little later now instead of having to wake up really early so I can go out while it's still cool. So, what are we talking about? It's about building trust through listening. Listening, it's such an important skill to have. Just taking time to intentionally listen. Sometimes what we do is we anticipate what someone is going to say, and then without really listening to what they're saying, we make assumptions and then we spew something out, and they're looking at us like, help me make sense of what you just said. So listening, when we develop the skill of listening, it helps us connect better with whomever it is we are speaking with. I like the people who do interviews who are very good interviewers. True, sometimes they may come with a list of questions. And I've done interviews, and sometimes we do have preset questions to ask whomever we are interviewing. But as the conversation is going and you're listening, you're hearing some things that maybe adds more color to what the conversation is all about. So instead of just sticking to what has been written, asking questions because you've been listening helps to make the conversation even richer. And that's one thing I enjoy about listening to interviews. I was listening to Diary of a CEO, and he gave a very interesting story. Normally he says before he interviews anyone, and gosh, he's grown to an amazing brand now with millions and millions of followers. And it's not just that he's making an impact through storytelling, learning about how CEOs are making an impact, making a difference, how they get, what their story is. So he said he normally would research before he does an interview, get to the background so that when he's talking to them, it makes it more natural sounding. There was one particular interview that he was getting ready to do, and for some reason he said he mixed up the people that he was going to interview, and he had been researching somebody else, not the person in front of him. So, very smart thinking. When, after greeting each other, hi, how are you? So he said, what would you say about yourself to someone who knew nothing about who you are? And I was like, that is an amazing comeback, because he truly didn't know anything about the person in front of him. I think he was going to prepare for this other person later on, but here he was. He had to go through with the interview. He couldn't just say, well, you know what, I didn't prepare. I didn't prepare for this. So can we reschedule? No, the person has come all the way. They're ready for an interview. You can't just tell them, go away. Come back another day when I'm ready. That's why listening, having that skill of listening is so powerful. And he was able to build his conversation with this person. I think I'm going to have to go back to get even more details of how he did it. But he was able to get details. He was able to get into a conversation, and because he had no preparation, it sounded even more natural. He's a great interviewer, but this one, because he had nothing, it sounded as if they were just having a chit chat, and that's exactly what they were having, because he had no knowledge of who this person was. He may know the name, maybe a little bit of background, but no in-depth. So he had to use his listening skills to come up with the answers. Sorry, not the answers, the questions, to make it a conversation that was comfortable. The other person didn't know that he didn't know who he didn't have any knowledge of who the person was. I can't remember if it was a man. I can't remember who he was. So I'd like to go a bit deeper and learn exactly what happened. I was just in passing watching his story. But he did a great interview. And he said it's one of the most watched videos of his. All because he switched on the power of listening. And so when we intentionally listen, we can have a very rich conversation, because we're asking questions. The person we're speaking with, because we've been listening, they may say something and you get intrigued because you're making a connection with them. And for me as a coach, this is what I do. I don't have pre-set questions per se. I kind of know what kind of questions to ask, but I don't know what my client is going to talk about. So I just have to bring it out and ask the questions that will help them get the results that they want. And so build trust through listening. And I'll close with this. Listen with the purpose of understanding people. So today, seek to gain knowledge from their experience, their perspective, and their feelings. That's a quote by John Maxwell himself. And with that, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm getting better, getting earlier. Not quite on my target time, but I'm getting earlier, because it's so much easier to come earlier than later, because later it throws me off with sleep. And so this is a good time. This is a good time. I can't say I'll come on this time every single day, but I will certainly try to come early. Thanks for joining. I will see you tomorrow. Gosh, it's almost the end of the year. I've been doing this every day since